2017, from the northern part of the Netherlands, we are driven to get there. Armed with nothing but our passion and spirit, we race the rugged wilds of the Australian outback and the Moroccan desert, powered by the sun. New faces, yet a shared goal to win the Bridgestone World Solar Challenge. With the power of our dedication, cutting-edge technology, and boundless innovation, we seek to leave a mark that shapes the future for generations to come. We are Top Dutch Solar Racing.
Oh yeah, yes. I'm all excited. What a movie. Thank you for making it. Thank you all for being here this beautiful morning. And I think it's going to be an exciting day because I think all of you are very excited what's underneath this blanket. That's where we're going to today, the reveal of this new car. So happy to see all those faces, happy, smiling, a bit excited, right? Yeah, nice. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Nathan de Vries, born and raised in Groningen, and today I'm hosting this event. And it's going to be a nice event. I did it 2 years ago, and then there was, in the end, we all worked to that climax, and there are all kind of things happening. I'm not going to say too much about it, but it's going to be nice. It's going to be fun, and let's hear what the people are going to say. I've got two things to say. Please put down your phone, or put it on silent, please. And if you make a picture, that's all right, but not with a flashlight on it, so we don't get disturbed. I think that's good to know. Today we've got three main speakers who will introduce, the teams we're talking and we're going to discuss. Erik Westerhof, and then we've got Philip from the gemeente Groningen. Where is Philip? Philip, yes, you are there. And you're going to tell something about the energy transition, right? Big applause for you. Thank you so much. Yeah, and for me it's very exciting to talk to the two teams because we've got a non-technical team and we've got a technical team. And I want to know everything about that. How did you do the management? How did you do the finance, the logistics, the marketing and communication, right? So we're going to talk with you guys. That's one of the most important things of the day. And, of course, the technical team. How do you build a car that's going to Australia and maybe, hopefully, win the race, right? So we're going to talk with the two teams. And then, in the end, we're going to have the final reveal of the car. So I'm very curious about this day. I want to introduce the first speaker of the day. You are there, Erik Westerhof, the team coach and the lecturer of the Hans University. A big applause for Erik Westerhof.
Hey ho, let's go. I can do this. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Top Dutch Solar Racing community, and especially Team 23 in front of me, I warmly welcome you to this special occasion. My name, as being said, is Erik Westerhof, and I have the privilege of being involved with this team as a team coach, just as I was for the teams of 2019 and 21 in the back of the venue. Today is a true milestone for this team. We are about to reveal the car, the new car, who will participate in the Bridgestone World Solar race. But it's meant to win it as all. Welcome to everyone, either present in this beautiful venue or following us live on the live stream right now. Welcome first of all to all our sponsors, support us financially, practically. Welcome to you, because without your support, none of this would ever been possible. We are really grateful for you, and you owe a great deal of love and appreciation. Sip of water. Relax. Welcome to family members as well, especially family members abroad from our international team members, probably through the live stream. Parents, siblings, boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever. You might have thought about this project, what is going on? Where are they? The only time I see you, you're exhausted. That's true. Sorry for that. We come home, eat, sleep, and go back to the office again. And I must say sorry again because it's not over yet. It will continue for a couple of months. Please know that your support is really, really valuable to all of us. And welcome to our alumni, already said, who will be so thankful that they already passed this stage. And are a little bit jealous maybe, because this project contains a lot of good memories. And everyone still wants to be part of it. And I tell you, you still are part of this project. We will never forget you. I will come back to your stories later. So nice to see you all. Lastly, I would like a special welcome to our competitors, friends of other teams. I've seen Twente, Delft and Belgium, who joined us today to have a close look at our car, new car. And we can totally understand that you want to have a close look now, because in Australia, obviously, you don't have another chance. It's nice to see you all here. We wish you, of course, all the best. May the best team win. We will make memories together and have a drink afterwards in the Belgian Beer Cafe in Adelaide, where we will trade our shirts with you. So, the Bridgestone World Solar Race. A strange project it is. Students all over the world participate in it, building a car, designing it, and testing it, driving it, working tirelessly to get their own thing into it. And then they drive all the way, fly all the way to Australia, and drive from Darwin to Adelaide, 3,022 kilometers on solar power only. They set up camps, they organize convoy cars. It's a hassle of 5 days only. In this field of the Bridgestone World Solar Challenge, the top Dutch team stands out as a team that includes students of vocational institutions, MBO in Dutch as well as students of the universities, HBO and WO. We really believe in that concept and proud of it too. In an event like this, each and every team faces their own challenges. For Team 19, being the first top Dutch team, it was a journey into unknown territory. Sponsors didn't know about us. Initially, the stakeholders were doubtful. However, as the team grew and consistently showcased their capabilities, belief and support flourished. And with an impressive 4th place finish and the honored Excellence in Engineering Award, they truly demonstrated their exceptional value. Team 21, the second team, they encountered the global obstacle of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Australian leg of the competition was cancelled, and with the departure of the mechanical engineers, there seemed to be no race and no car. Nevertheless, they refused to surrender. They built the car after all and participated in the Moroccan Solar Challenge, once again securing a beautiful 4th place. Did I mention massive food poisoning already? Scorpion bites? They've had their challenges. This accomplishment of you stands as a testament for your resilience and determination. Thank you for that. Shout out to our alumni who spoke with us many, many times, openly about their own doubts and failures, only to help us out and improve. And now, Team 23. Team 23 has to prove they are ready to continue the legacy of the previous teams. Of course, they have had their setbacks as well. A little spoiler alert, there will be more. Some expected, some unexpected. On our way to Adelaide, we will face some challenges, and even after that. But I'm totally confident that you will survive these setbacks, because I have known you as a strong, cohesive, and dedicated team so far. But before I will share more thoughts about this beautiful team, I will let other people speak. I hope you enjoy our show. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erik, for your beautiful words. Nice, and we see you later on stage again. Then I would like to give the word to Jan Hugo, the Marketing and Communication Director of the Hans University, and he will talk about the different schools that are involved in this project. Jan Hugo.
Thank you. Yeah, talking about the different schools, I'm standing here as director of marketing communication of the Hanse, but also as chairman of the marketing team of the Akkoord van Groningen. And within Akkoord van Groningen, together the knowledge institutes from MBO, HBO, and university, together with the municipality of Groningen and province and UMCG and Martini, we look at what are the challenges and how can we bring sustainability further and our knowledge further in the region of Groningen. And on that part, I was very excited that I was here to tell something about the cooperation. And I think a year ago, Minister Dijkgraaf was in Groningen. And at that moment, he has laid the basis from his new vision. And they say, or he calls it the Dutch waaier of education, and meaning that it's not a hierarchical pyramid between MBO, HBO, university, but we need each other to face the challenges we're in. And when you translate waaier in Google Translate, it becomes fan. So I think at a presentation earlier of the solar team, he became fan of you, of solar teams. And he thought, this is the base for my vision. And well, he translated it in wire, but I think he's just fan of you. And he's not the only fan. When I look back in 2019, I started at Hanse. And Nienke van Dijk, I think the alumni all say, oh, Nienke, she helped us. She was also in Australia the first time. She's in my team. I said, we're busy with something really cool. And I'm going to Australia. I said, oh, okay, well, that's good. They need support from us. But Eric, in last week, he already said, they keep surprising me. Even after 3 years, I thought I have to arrange something. No, they already done it. And also at that moment, it was the team arranges it and they deal with the challenges. And the coaches from all education organizations, they are there to help. But in the end, it's the team that makes the biggest effort and is also learning. And I thought it was only learning, but well, Eric is very competitive, as I saw earlier. So competition and learning, it's a good handshake. But I think in that handshake, it's really important that it's a safe place where you can learn and where it's allowed to make mistakes. And it's also, and we just discussed it with coffee, when is it a mistake and when is it a learning experience? And I think that's a nice balance, and I hope that we all learn from the mistakes, the challenges, and we put it in a learning moment. And in those learning moments, one of the elements we find very important as knowledge institutes is the impact on the region and the world that surrounds us, because we have major challenges. So I asked, okay, what's the impact? Because we already have 50 alumni and 27 new members of the team. And a colleague of mine, Eline, she's now in my team, and Eline Hesta, and she was earlier also in a solar team. She looked at the impact and she said, well, we have 50 alumni, but still a lot of them are involved, working together on the battery management system, the electromotor, but also the maximum power point tracker. I don't know what it is, perhaps somebody can point it to me, but those are very important elements in the car, and it's nice to see that that cooperation is there. And even 12 startups as a result of 2 earlier cars. So I'm always curious, what is the element I will have in my car within 30 years perhaps, but here we have the safe space to experiment. The students are experimenting, but also the businesses that are involved, and they really like it, that it's a safe zone where you can learn, and that is what we want to be at Groningen. And then I think, well, ready for the future. There are here 27 students that are becoming change agents, and we need change agents when we see the major challenges. So I wish you all the best in the trajectory you're in. very curious, and we will have it on the screens at Hansa to see where you are in the race. And well, I believe the only thing the other team see is the back of the car, but I think the learning experience is even more important. And well, very good luck with that. And I'm very curious to see what's underneath the blanket. So thank you.
Thank you, Jan Hugo. It was a motivational speech, right? I heard some beautiful things, learning from mistakes, right? And I think you are the future, so thank you so much, Jan Hugo. And then we go to our final speaker, Philip. I would like to introduce you from the gemeente Groningen. So can I have a big applause for Philip Broeksma? Good luck, Philip.
So good morning, everyone. My name is Philip Broeksma, Vice Mayor for Energy Transition and for Mobility, Sustainable Mobility in the city of Groningen. And the other day, 1.5 years ago, we finalized our mobility vision. And our mobility vision consists of 3 main points. The first one is less mobility. So mobility which is not needed is the best mobility. That is, create a kind of 15-minute city in which your work and the place where you live and the place where you want to sport and for your leisure time and shopping is close to each other. And we design our cities in such a way that we do that. But mobility will always be a necessity. So if there is mobility, if you need mobility, then make it active mobility, like walking, like biking. And it's good to know that for all the mobility within our city, it's 2/3 is already by bike because of you students, because of young people. And go by car into the inner city of Groningen, it's a bad idea. Don't do that. Go by bike or your scooter or a shared bike, electric bike, whatever. But by bike is the best thing. But then doing such, we think we can reduce car traffic within our inner city with 20%. So 80% remains. And we know from Corona times that a reduction of 20% of car traffic means 100% reduction of traffic jams. We know from COVID there were no traffic jams at all, and the reduction in car traffic was only 20%. So 80% of car traffic has to remain, will remain. And so then when there is car traffic, we want zero emission car traffic. Stop polluting our cities, stop polluting our inner cities. We don't want that. We want zero emission. And this car is going to be one of the examples, not for shopping. We don't see them many times in shopping in the inner city, like I'm going to use this car to buy a pair of shoes. You don't see that very often. But these are the other types of cars. The solar-powered cars could be an example of cars we need. So we want zero emission, be it electric cars, be it hydrogen cars. We have 32 hydrogen buses already, and all the other buses are electric buses that drive in the inner city. So no more diesel-fueled and fossil-fueled buses or at all. We have garbage collector cars that are on hydrogen or full electric. So that's going to be the future for the 80% of cars that need to remain. We have this company Lightyear. Lightyear, they had this solar panel on the rooftop of the car, and it extended the driving range of the car. Lightyear went bankrupt, but it's not the last we heard of them, so they will remain, they will come back into business. And what's going to happen is part of what was invented here, what was needed here, the challenges that were overcome in this car will eventually end up in regular produced cars. So this experiment and this going forward and trying to experiment and trying to design new elements in a car such as these, only solar-powered car, will eventually end up in regularly built cars. This week I spoke to one of the German director of the city of Oldenburg, and I told them, like we in Groningen, we are, I use the German word, experimentierfreudig, happy to experiment. And this experiments will fail or will succeed, whatever the outcome, it gives you more knowledge about the future, gives you more knowledge about where to go to. And this experiment and this design It may win the race or may not win the race. It doesn't matter. It brings our knowledge further. And maybe the splendid isolation of the city of Groningen, with all the knowledge institutes we have, and the companies, and the city, and the provinces, all joined forces to make this work, makes it possible that experiments like these can be pursued and can be furthered. That will help us. It will help the remaining 80% of cars. It will help us in zero emission. It will help us in furthering mobility. So I'm proud. I'm proud to be that the city of Groningen is part of this experiment, that we host a team like this in our city. And the other day, this week as well, we had the entire, all the cities of the Netherlands were into town, and we can be proud of what we produce here. We can be proud of Groningen. We can be proud of something that we have, and I am. The city council and the city board, we are proud of this happening. I wish you lots of fun, lots of luck, and lots of success in Adelaide and the Solar Challenge race. Good luck, all of you.
Thank you so much, Philip, from the gemeente Groningen. And I think I remember one word in particular. He's proud on you guys. So that's very important, I think. And I hope, and I think that everybody here wants to, dive into the conversation with the students, because you made this all possible. So I want to talk with you guys, the technical team and the non-technical team. But first of all, let's watch something. Lekker hoor. Nice. I think we're gonna get to know all these people we just saw in the movie. It reminds me a little bit of Wie is de Mol and Expeditie Robinson, like the people standing in front, tough and nice. And that's of course logical, because you did a good job. At least I hope so, you did a good job. First of all, I would like to introduce the non-technical team. So please sit on the bench. A big applause for the non-technical team first. Good morning. Nice to have you here, guys. How is it going? How do you feel?
To be honest?
Yeah, honest.
I'm a bit nervous, but I'm very excited for today, and love to see all these people coming to this event, and yeah, I'm very excited.
Nice. I already mentioned the non-technical team. It comes with marketing, communication, management, finance, you do organization from everything, logistics. So that's what you do. But maybe first of all, give a little introduction about yourself. What's your name and what do you do this project?
Yes, I'm Nina and I am part of the communications team.
My name is Rick, but as in the office they call me Ricky. And
Ricky,
I'm
right?
The team manager.
Yeah.
I'm Peter. I'm doing the partner relations.
And I'm Andrea, and I'm part of operations logistics team.
Nice, cool. To start with you, Ricky, the team manager, right? Okay, maybe you should take us back to the beginning, because you have to organize a team full of good people together, 25 people. How did you arrange all this?
Well, getting a team together of 25 or 27 individuals at the moment is a challenge.
I can imagine.
We're still, of course, working on it, but yeah, it's very fun to work together in such a team of dedicated individuals, all working towards the same goal. But also, yeah, we're still students, of course, in the best student city of the Netherlands. So yeah, we tend to have fun as well.
Yeah. And you mentioned you were working towards a goal. What is the main goal?
Well, I think that has been said already in this presentation before, but yeah, at the beginning of the year, I expressed my will of becoming world champions, and at that moment on,
World
the goal
champions, right?
was
World
set.
champions. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, so from that moment on, I put a high goal, was much at stake, so yeah, we know where to work against, to work towards.
Yeah. And your role like a team manager, what are you exactly doing over the last couple of months?
Well, what I tend to do is try and facilitate the team as much as possible in order to get to that world championship. That's our main goal, but it's not easy. It's easy to say that you want to become it, but actually doing it is way different. So what I'm trying to do is create an environment within the team where we can be open towards each other, because I believe that's very important.
And how do you do that?
Yeah, we have sessions which we call Spill the Tea on Mondays, where we talk about issues happening at the office, but also some more personal matters, because I believe talking with each other, being open, is part of becoming a good team and also being able to perform.
Nice, sounds good. And if you have to compare yourself with a football coach, who would that be? Guus Hiddink, a human?
He's a bit older.
Of Van Gaal, very strict.
Comparing myself to a football coach, I don't see myself as necessarily only the coach, not being in the playing field itself. I see myself as really part of that team and playing in the circumstance we're put in. So I wouldn't compare myself to a coach. I would say I'm more in-field.
Nice. And what is the unique thing of the group? What makes you special, like a group together?
Well, one of these things is that we, like already mentioned before, we have students from different levels of education. So in Dutch we say MBO, HBO, and WO.
Yeah.
We all bond together as a team. And we also don't see it as, okay, we have students from MBO, HBO, and WO. We see each other as one, become that team.
Nice, sounds good. Then we go to Peter, the financial man, right? I can imagine you have to pay for a car to build it. Can you take us through that process of like getting the finance parts together?
Yeah, so it's expensive. It all starts with, in the beginning of the year, every group sits together and they try to figure out how much they're going to spend, like through the whole edition.
Mm-hmm.
And then you lay that against the projection of money coming in. And then you find out, like, we don't have enough. We need a little bit more.
Okay.
That's what I've been trying to do all year.
Yeah. So there is a gap between what you need and what you have.
Yeah, you can say that.
And what is the process then? What are you going to do? Are you going to call people, write to people? What is the process?
Well, there's two things you can do. You can find specific products or specific production companies that can do the work for you.
Yeah.
For free of charge then, that's the sponsoring. Or you can find cash sponsoring. And of course we have our main trusted partner base already.
Yeah.
Hanze, Rug, gemeente, provincie. And we have one other sponsor here that has really stepped up this year.
Okay, I'm curious.
Yeah, so there's one partner here that's become our main sponsor, C-Trade. They really stepped up and they became our main sponsor.
Maybe I can see a hand. Yeah, that's fantastic. Nice, and I think you need it. Thank you so much. Then I go to Nina, marketing and communication. I think you are also in contact with C-Trade, right? About the design and the appointments you make. Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah. So designing the car is one of the biggest projects we have within the communications team. It took around 3 months from the first ideas and the first brainstorm sessions with the team to seeing the actual design on the actual solar car. And yeah, that was a very big process, and we worked very hard on it also together with C-Trade to get the most vibrant design that will be very visible and eye-catching in any race.
Yeah, but I think you can't say too much, otherwise you're already going to tell what's under the blanket, right?
I can't
you
go
have
too
to
much
slow it a
detail
bit.
with that because,
Yeah.
I don't want to take it away.
And what are other things you did? Like, what should I think when I think about marketing and communication in this team?
Yeah, well, we do a lot, but some of the things is that we have to be responsible for taking the footage of every event and every important moment we have within the team to capture it in video and photos.
And why is that important to have enough footage of what you do?
It's first important for the memories to have them, but it's also important to create the content for blogs, for newsletters, social media posts, or content for partners that we have. That's always very important. We also write and take the content all ourselves to basically spread the word, our work around the world, and especially also in the north of the Netherlands.
Nice, yeah, important place, of course, the best city in the Netherlands. You already mentioned it, fantastic. And what is the most exciting thing over the last couple of months you experienced or did, or?
I think for me personally, the most exciting thing is just seeing the team grow together. I think it sounds very cliche when I say that we all became a small family, but it's true.
Yeah.
Yes, we had a lot of ups and downs, but it's very great just to see what we have become, and that's what
because that's interesting, because I'm not in the team, of course, but do you see each other like a whole working week and doing all kinds of things together? Why is that bond so strong?
We see each other every day on the week, but also in the weekends a lot, because we
really
we're working at the moment, especially it's a very busy time period, so we see each other basically 24/7, but also not only working together, we also have to do a lot of team bonding, which Rick already mentioned a bit.
Nice. Cool. Then I go to you, Andrea. Logistics, organizing everything. Maybe you can take us through your process. What is exactly the thing you are doing?
So as logistics, we like to separate the things we do in things that we do in the Netherlands and things that we have to prepare for Australia. In the Netherlands, for
you heard that? Australia. They're going to Australia. She has to prepare everything for Australia. That's a hell of a job, but she's doing it,
yes, together with my colleague Camille. But with the activities, that we do in the Netherlands, we have to prepare for racing days.
Yes.
For example, our first racing experience was last year in September when we participated at Illumen European Solar Challenge. And now the most recent racing event that we will participate at will be next week in Assen during the TT Festival.
Oh, really? Cool.
With the help of InnoFest. There we will practice the communication protocols, but also exercise the convoy configuration that we will follow in Australia.
Nice. And how in your role do you help the technical team, support them?
For example, during the building phase, we had to make sure that all the facilities are ready on time for the production to start, such as accommodation and workspaces, but also provide the right materials at the right time to build the car.
Good job. And then I already mentioned it, you're going to Australia.
Yes.
How? It's not Belgium or so how are you going to prepare for that? How are you going to fix it?
For example, next week we are shipping the container to Australia with all the technical equipment.
On a boat, that way?
No, yes.
Oh, really?
On the boat, yes. With all the technical equipment and camping gear that we don't need for the next 2 months. But we don't send the car just yet. The car will be shipped by plane in August, right before we go to Australia to prepare for the race.
What's the nicest thing of your task?
I really like organizing things, and I like to think of all the possible scenarios of everything I'm doing, so I like to be very prepared for everything. And I like to think of myself as a caring person, so I really care about this team, and I like to do things for them.
Thank you, Andrea. To go back to you, Ricky, what are you expecting of the reveal in a few minutes?
Of course, I hope everybody's going to be amazed by the fact that we have been able to create this wonderful car and also the wonderful design. Of course, we don't know the performance just yet. We'll figure that out in the upcoming months, but I hope everybody will be amazed by what our team has been able to create. And I want to thank you all for being here, being with us today, and showing your support.
Thank you, Ricky. After you guys, we go to the technical team, because I'm also interested how the car is built up. I've got no idea, very curious. But first of all, we're going to look at some footage of the last couple of months, what you all did. But first of all, a big applause for the non-technical team. Nice. I would love to invite the technical team on stage. Yes. It's a big team, right? Does it all fit? Yeah.
Practiced.
Yeah, applause, it fits. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Okay, the technical team. So for me, I am a lake, we say in the Dutch, right? So I don't know much about building a car. I never did it. But you guys do. So I try to figure out what you all do and keep it also simple for me so that I can understand what you are doing. But maybe first of all, as we always also did by the non-technical group, maybe you can introduce yourself and your task in the project.
Yes, I am Jochem, and I'm part of the mechanical department.
Hi, my name is Vlad, and I'm one of the software engineers in the team.
Hi, my name is Jacob. I'm one of the strategists.
Good morning. I am Misha. I'm the technical manager of this team.
Good morning. I'm Matthias. I'm one of the structural and aerodynamics engineers.
Hi, I'm Ian. I'm part of the aerodynamics team.
And I'm Laura, and I'm part of the electro team.
So cool. Thank you so much for being here on the bench. Nice. To start with you, Misha, like the technical manager. I think we have to go back to the starting point of making a car. What are the first steps you have to take of building a car?
Yeah, that's a good one. It was about a year ago, and it started with absolute chaos, but organized absolute chaos, of course, because very first steps that we did is basically go into like a massive brainstorming session, just write all of our crazy ideas on paper, and then of course look at what the previous teams have done. We look at what we liked and we could copy, and we looked at what we disliked and we need to improve. And keeping that in mind, we evaluated all of our options to see which one had the most potential to get the best car. Always keeping in mind the time and the money we have, of course.
Okay.
And for us, it really starts then with the aerodynamic design process.
Mm-hmm. And how do you know when it's a good design? When do you have the feeling this is good? We are on the good page.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Of course, we are going to see that when we go to Australia in a few months. But along the way, what we can do is we can compare it to previous cars that we built. Besides that, we are now sort of in the stage where we also get to go to the car presentation of other teams, and there you can sort of see what the competition does and hope that you made something similar or better.
Yeah. And what about the competition? Can you a bit like scale your car to the others?
Oh, that's very difficult. Although for most of the people in the room here, all solar cars do look pretty much the same. If I ask any winner of my team, they're gonna notice a million differences from car to car. So all the design choices, they're right for that team, but then comparing it is a bit difficult from time to time.
And as a technical manager, can you say something about the whole group? What kind of group do you have? Yeah,
the technical team is quite large. So it's about 15 people. But it doesn't mean that the rest of the team doesn't contribute to what we do in building the car. Because what we try to do is keep it a really open design process. So whenever from someone from logistics or from operations, events, communication has suggestions like, hey, have you thought about this and that? We all try to pitch in. So balancing a group like that is a challenge.
Nice, nice. Then we go to the aerodynamics. That's your part. Sounds like a word I don't hear very often. Can you take me in a process? What is it exactly?
Yes, aerodynamics is quite difficult. It's a difficult process because it's really a balance about finding the balance between efficiency and reliability.
Okay.
If it were up to aerodynamics, we'd remove the solar panels, remove the driver, remove the wheels, make everything a nice airfoil, and we have the most perfect aerodynamic thing. But that wouldn't be really a solar car. So we have to really discuss with mechanics, with electro, how are we going to get the most of our solar cells? What is stable enough, and how do we go to that limit? Once we kind of have our bounding box of what we can do, then it's our job to make sure our car cuts through the air. So we have the least air resistance, which is about 80% when driving in Australia.
And how has it improved in comparison with last year?
Well, I can say for sure it has improved an incredible amount.
Oh, really?
From those principles, like making everything smaller and smoother. We've learned from mistakes from last year's.
Yes.
We've tried to repeat what they did right, but we've decreased the frontal area of our car by about 32%, and decreased the drag itself by about 35%.
How do you do that?
Well, it's difficult because I'm not air. I don't know how air moves and how it makes resistance on the car. But what we do is we start by design. We simulate it in a computer program, so we simulate kind of the real world on the computer. We look for mistakes, we improve, make a new design, and repeat.
Oh, but that's interesting. So you like kind of put the car in the computer to see if it's all working, yeah?
Exactly.
Really? Okay. Oh, nice. I didn't know that. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Yeah, nice. Nice to know that. Okay, thank you. Then we go to the next person, the structural man, Matthias. Yeah, the structural. That's about the body of the car, or not?
Yes, it is. It's about the strength of the body and just keeping the driver safe, pretty much.
Keeping the driver safe. Okay, take me through that process. How do you keep the driver safe with the body of the car?
Yeah, so after after the aerodynamic design finished, we started designing the inside of the car.
Yeah.
So, and once that design had finished, and once our molds had been ordered, we actually we proceeded into the strength calculations so that we could actually keep the driver safe because, well, a design is not a design unless you do some calculations on it.
Yeah.
So, after those calculations were done and the molds had arrived, we were ready to laminate at Fokker, which we did using carbon fiber, structural foam, and structural honeycomb to make sure the car is as lightweight and strong as possible.
Because it has to be light and, again, also strong in the same time.
Yes, yes, and for that reason we used carbon fiber, which is pretty much just has those two attributes just right there.
Yeah. And were there any difficulties in like producing this body and the inside of the car?
Yes, definitely. It didn't come without struggle. And I think as anyone would tell you who has designed something, who has worked on something, things don't always go your way. And that was definitely the case for us as well.
Yeah. But how then do you make it a winning car?
You try best. That's all I can say. There were a lot of things which we thought of or we designed in the aerodynamic process or in the aerodynamic design that turn out to be quite difficult to produce or just downright unfeasible.
Okay.
We have some small radii in the car which my fingers cannot fit in. So during the lamination process that was quite a hassle. And also the planning. We sat down with Misha, our technical manager, and Camille, one of our logistics people, to make a planning for the whole lamination process. But it turned out the planning was so incredibly volatile that 2 days into the process we actually realized, oh wait, we're already in front of the schedule. We're already doing a better job than we should be doing.
Oh yeah, echt? Oh,
Yeah.
Nice. But that's a good thing.
That is that is a good thing.
Yeah, cool. Okay, I would like to go to Jochem, over there, microphone. Yes. Mechanics. Jochem, what do you exactly do?
Yeah, that's true. We're working on the mechanical parts of the car, such examples like the steering wheel. The car needs to steer because it is a straight road, but still we have some corners to take. So we have to get a steering wheel in the car, but also suspension for the front and rear wheels. That will be sure that the car is not bouncing too much. So it will be good on the road. And we also have a mechanism that opens the deck. This will be sure that the cells on the deck will be perpendicular to the sun, so it will get more energy out of the sun.
Interesting. Why do you like working on this project in your role?
I'm loving like the car world. So I already watched quite some Formula 1. I like to see that and how they build some incredible things. And I saw at the school, the opportunity to join Top Dutch.
Yeah.
I saw this is the way to go. Building a solar car, racing in Australia, everything was
cool.
so nice. Yeah.
It all fits, and
true. Yeah.
Are you already proud, or are you proud when it's in Australia and when the car is driving?
No, I'm already proud now. We already built in the first parts of the car. It looks nice. Everything was working. We already tested some parts and it was working as well. So it's great to see. Also, all the people are pushing all the effort.
Yeah, nice.
Staying late at the office, making long days. It's great to see.
Good job, nice. I see your enthusiasm, so that's always nice. Electro, who is doing the electro? Are you sure? Is there
We might change now.
I think it's important. The electro, take us through that process. What is the electronic devices and things in the car?
Yeah, so we basically have to decide a lot of components: electromotor, battery, solar cells, MPPTs, everything that you can imagine that will make the car roll without needing to push it.
Yeah.
And one of these decisions was, at the very beginning, we have to decide for the electromotor that we're going to go with.
Yeah, yeah.
And we decided again to bet on Raytech, which might be somewhere in the audience here, which is an alumni of us that permits us to optimize the car to our needs.
And how do you do that? Because how do you optimize? How do you make it faster and better with the things you use?
We better ask Ray for that. I'm not part of the motor crew.
No. And what is the hardest part of your task?
I'm responsible of the solar panels.
Yes.
The worst part maybe is fighting with aerodynamics, so that they can give me some space to place the panels there. Yes.
That's cool. And what about the software? There is also software in the car, right?
Yes.
Okay, take us through that process. What kind of software is there in the car?
Yes, so in terms of software, what we have to do is make sure that what the electro team designs actually works the way they envision it's going to work. So for example, when you press a button, the right lights turn on. It's a very simple example, but when you have to brake or when you have to accelerate, those also have to work the way you expect them to work. So yeah, in terms of software, we got very intimate with the electro team. Not that way, but... We got to know how they work. We got to know like what their process is. We learned a lot. And then our goal was not just to create a software that manages their electrical system, but also optimizes and makes it as efficient as possible. Because as we know, like every ounce of energy matters. So in terms of software, we also try to make the software lean, very efficient as well.
And how do you test it? How do you know that it's going the right path?
Yes, we basically debug it. That's what we do. We just write code and we run it. We see it doesn't work. We run it again. It doesn't work again. And
so
then
it's a lot of try and error.
Yeah, it's a lot of trial and error, a lot of nights, and a lot of banging our heads on the table.
What is your most beautiful experience so far?
I would say just seeing things come to life, like just from a brainstorming session a few months ago, now actually putting it in the car and turning that button and it actually turns on. It's an experience. It's very hard to describe, but it's very, very, very nice.
Nice. Strategy is also very important, I think, to get everything together, right?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, we have a lot of different dependencies in that sense. I mean, without this car, our jobs would not be there. So in that sense, there's a lot to it. I usually sort of see it as we build this beautiful car, and as a strategy department, we try to redeem the position that it deserves. For our car, we hope that is, of course, the first position. But in a more sort of like concrete example, it would be mostly that we try to finish that race as fast as possible.
Okay, so that's the goal.
Yeah.
And to run as fast as possible with the car, but how do you make a strategy then out of it?
Yeah, that takes a lot of mathematical programming. And it also involves a lot of physics and a lot of theory. And, in the beginning of the year, to try to challenge our views a bit, we went to the SWI, which is a mathematics competition.
Okay.
And there were quite some professors, undergrads, PhD candidates that basically worked together with us for a week to challenge our views and try to come up with new ideas. And I can't really go into the details that much for now. We've tried something completely different based on that competition. So that's very interesting. That's how we try to get the best strategy as possible.
Interesting. What is the nicest thing about your task?
I'd say it's quite theoretic still, but also very practical. So at university you learn a lot of stuff, and you usually have some labs or some practical work, but not as practical as this. And I'm sort of like, the pressure that's involved in that is also very very interesting to see, and I like it a lot.
Nice. Then we go back to Misha to round it up. Do you believe in the strategy of your partner? What should we expect?
Yeah, of course.
Yes. I would say the same.
I wouldn't have Jacob next to me if I wouldn't believe in him. Over the past 10 months to a year, we've all put in a lot of hours. We've gone through the tedious effort of drawing out all of the components of the car, as well as the strategy, of course, and the whole logistics train that surrounds that. And over the past few months, we've actually assembled this car, and I think the team has done something amazing, and we've built something very competitive.
I think with these final words, Misha and the rest of the team, we're going to the car reveal moment. So I ask you all to leave the stage. I'm gonna stand because, of course, it's a applause. Thank you, non-technical and technical team. And then we're going to the main moment of the morning, namely the car reveal. Let's start.
Energy efficient,
Innovative,
cutting edge,
aerodynamic,
lightweight,
efficient, high performance,
sustainable,
sleek,
streamlined,
futuristic, speedy, reliable,
eco-friendly,
powerful,
technologically advanced,
agile, revolutionary,
stylish,
dynamic,
state-of-the-art,
competitive, high-tech. Meet Green Thunder.
Looks amazing, right? Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. I want to ask Misha on stage again to tell us something more about the car. But first of all, one more applause for this beautiful car. It's fantastic.
Wow. Yeah, I think I've got a mic on, so that means everyone must be able to hear me. I think you already saw me on the couch just now. I'm Misha. I guess I'm not old enough to introduce myself with my first and last name, but I'm the technical manager still of the Top Dutch Solar Racing team. I'm super proud to actually be here. It's been in our garage for probably like 2 months now, and like we were all dying to show everyone sort of what we built, but we had to keep it quiet. But this is the result. This is her. It's so amazing to actually see what we built. It's the result of our imagination. It's the result of our endless discussion, and we've been part of it. But it's mostly the result of over 20,000 hours of hard work. And after this presentation, we'd like to invite all of you to come closer to sort of see what car we built. But to fully appreciate what this is, let me point out a few of the amazing features that we managed to include in this year's edition. So, what do you actually need to keep in mind when we're building a solar car? Well, in our office, it's all about 3 things. It's first making sure that we get the most energy from the sun as possible. Second, when you've got this energy, make sure that you use it efficiently. And thirdly, and this is the most important one of all, at every point in the process, do not forget that you're still building a car that's going to have a driver in it. Although these 3 lessons may seem simple, we try to keep them in mind every step of the way and balance them out as sorts. So actually, let me give you an example. This kind of car type that we build is called a monohull. But in our office, we just call it a bullet type design. And it's characterized by the fact that it's very long, but it's also very narrow, so it can sort of shoot through the air like an arrow. Already Ian, our aerodynamic engineer, pointed out that if he was going to make a solar car, it would just be something that looked like a wing of an airplane, like an airfoil. But for obvious reasons, of course, that doesn't work out. Where are you going to put the solar cells? And most importantly, where are you going to put the driver? So let's say we actually put the driver in the front of the car, right here, just between the two front wheels. If we want to make a car that is super aerodynamic, we need to take in the back and make it really narrow there. But if you want to go with the tradition of having 4 wheels, 2 to the front, 2 to the rear, that's quite difficult because there's still wheels in the way. So alternatively, what you could do is you could say, well, cars have 4 wheels, or like the cars we drive have 4 wheels, but a 3-wheeled car could also work. So you put the driver in the front, 2 wheels, and then when you go to the back, you don't have to worry about sort of the wheels being in the way because you could just do 1 wheel at the back. And it's very narrow, very efficient, but also narrow cars are very unstable. And when you go to Australia and drive in the outback, the weather is somewhat different than here just on the A28 that you might have taken here to get here in Groningen. Because winds over 100 kilometers an hour are not at all uncommon there. And when a car like this, with the weight of about a Vespa scooter, but still the surface area of a Tesla car, drives in a condition like that, the consequences could be dire. So our team decided, well, okay, what we're going to do is we are going to go with a non-standard wheel configuration. We'll put the driver in the front, in between the 2 front wheels, and then at the back, we're going to get 2 wheels, but place them really close to each other. So when we're driving in a straight line, it's very aerodynamic, but then when we go around a corner, we still have the added stability of 4 wheels. So this car is not very efficient, not only very efficient, of course it's very efficient, but it also is a car that's trusted by the drivers. But besides that, of course, there are other things you have to keep in mind. So let's shift the focus a bit to how to make sure that we actually get a car that takes in the most amount of energy from the sun as possible. So each day when we're in Australia, the sun rises a bit before 7, and then it sets a bit after 8, giving us about 13 hours of intense sunlight that we can turn into electricity. And when the sun moves across the sky from east to west, the rays of the sun first hit the solar cells on the left side of the car, and then later on the right side of the car. But because our car is so narrow, all of the solar cells need to be really close to the canopy. So this distance is probably like about that much. And this is going to cause a problem in a minute. Because in previous editions, we used to build cars that had canopies that were mostly made from carbon fiber, but then with a little window so the driver could still see out. And this worked great, but we noticed that when the sun was relatively low in the sky, close to the horizon, there will be a shadow to the side of the car, which means that no sun on the solar cells is no energy. So we needed to tackle this. And we decided to go with a full clear canopy. So whenever the sun is low in the sky, the rays could still pass through and hit the solar cells on the other side. And this extra energy, of course, first needs to go to the driver cooling, because I guess you can imagine that if you're going to drive this in Australia under a hot sun, it's going to be really, really warm. But all the energy we then have left can go to powering our motor, which makes us go faster and further through the outback. So that's the energy we can get while we're driving. But there is also, of course, moments in the race where we're standing still. Think about, for example, in the mornings before we're allowed to start, or in the afternoon when there's mandatory control stops, or like after the race is over and we just have a few rays of sun that we can sort of base in. And what happens then at that point is we need to make sure that we can also get that amount of energy, because of the 13 hours of light each day, there's only 9 hours in which we race. So if we manage to use those 4 other hours efficiently, we can get ourselves an extra boost and get an extra edge over the competition. So how would you actually go charge a solar car when you're standing still? Now, this is basically where you see all of the solar cars of the other teams standing beside the road. Indeed, as our mechanical engineer Jochem already pointed out, then flipping up the deck and making sure they make nice and right angles to the sun. Think about the solar panels you have on your roof. If you just like lay them flat on the ground, that wouldn't be sufficient. And of course, we had a mechanism like this in previous cars, but it only opened the rear part of the car. So say from like the tail to about the canopy. And these mechanisms work really well. They were really light. They're really easy to maintain. But we were still missing some of the potential from the solar cells on the front. So we decided to go with this new mechanism where it sort of flipped the whole up. And besides our strategy department really loving this, the rest of the technical team, and the team in general, also really enjoy this. Because besides getting as most energy from the sun, there's also a second reason why you want to flip up the whole deck. And that is because in the front of the car here, so the wheels are about here, there is a lot of stuff happening. Think about the suspension, or the brakes, or the steering mechanism, and even the lights. And when you build a prototype car like we do, of course, inevitably, all of those things are going to break, especially because we test them pretty hard. We want to make sure they're very light. And if they break, they are needed repairs. And when the front of the car doesn't flip up, then the only way to reach those parts is through the seat of the driver. And quite often, it happens that the mechanics can't reach it. And therefore, in previous teams, it was not uncommon to take the smallest team member you have, flip them upside down, shove them into the driver's seat, give them a screwdriver, and then just like shout what kind of repairs they need to make. And most often, these weren't the people in the technical team, so good luck trying to explain what they need to do. So besides us getting more energy from a deck that flips up, it also makes repairs more comfortable and faster. And this is something that I think is really indicative of not only the learning effect within our generation, the Top Dutch team from 2023, but how we sort of develop from generation to generation. Because we started to realize that it's not just the fastest car that is going to win the race in Australia, but it is going to be the car and the team that can work together the best. And there's one other beautiful point where I can sort of point that out, and that is when we go into weight saving. Because around February or March from this year, most of the solar teams in the Netherlands, as well as like Europe and the world, they'll have the aerodynamic body finished. All of the composite work is done, and then it's very difficult to do anything about the aerodynamics of your car. So the new obsession we all sort of subscribe to is weight saving. And we all sort of get crazy with it. Everything starts to be doubted. Everything has to have a function. If it doesn't have a function, it just gets removed. And when we've done all of that, at some point, someone is going to suggest, like, well, how about you just like drill holes in every part of the car to make it lighter even? And what you have as a result is a car that is very light and very fast, but also amazingly uncomfortable. It's almost like we were designed for that. I've said in this thing, it's terrible. You don't want this as your daily commute. You can't use it to the groceries. You can't really pick up the kids. It only also has one seat, so maybe that's like another reason why probably you don't want to have it. But the weight saving has a function because it makes us faster, right? Well, let me try to explain why I think that is a bit of a logical fallacy. Because as already mentioned, it's not about just making the fastest car. It's about making a car and a team that can work well together. And we have kitted out our car with a lot of sensors, but still, most of the information on whether the car is doing great or not comes from our drivers. And our drivers have to sit in this car for hours on end in the hot Australian sun. And through racking up training hours in our simulator, when we're driving on tracks like the Airport Eelde or TT circuit in Assen, as well as during our practice in Australia, they start to learn all of the little hints the car gives. So the sounds it makes, the vibrations they feel. And there's no place where the drivers interact with the car more than with the steering wheel. So now we're facing a bit of a dilemma. Are we going to make a steering wheel that is very comfortable, but also possibly could be heavier? Or do you want to go with the option of making a bare bones steering wheel that is very light? When we were facing this question about 3-4 months ago, we decided to go with a steering wheel that was very ergonomic, because we believe this is where the driver controls the car, and it's also important for them to feel safe so it can perform to the best. But as it turned out, however, the original idea of the fact that things that are comfortable must also be heavier were just simply wrong. Because what we managed to do for this car is make a steering wheel that is the lightest steering wheel any Top Dutch Solar Racing team has used so far. And the lesson we learned from this is that you shouldn't look at comfort or ergonomics as some sort of unnecessary luxury, but rather see it as a tool to make the car and the team perform better. So far I've talked mostly about all of the technical aspects, whereas there's one other thing I sort of want to take you into, and that is the artwork of the car and the story that it tells. So this year we decided to go wrap the car. We wanted to make a car that's very lightweight, so the other option would be painting. With painting, of course, you can get nicer details and you can do finer lines, but a wrap is just simply lighter. And I think this is pretty indicative of sort of the design philosophy of the team. You take a few things and you do those extremely well. Over the past year, we've worked with students from MBO schools, from HBO schools, as well as from university, to make sure we take full control of the process. And besides that, we've worked with educational institutions, with governmental institutions, as well as private companies, to show that the things we're doing here today aren't just useful for us in Australia, but also can have a lasting impact on society. And we've also been representing the provinces of Groningen, of Friesland, and of Drenthe, to show what potential this sometimes overlooked part of the Netherlands has. And it is these 3 sets of 3 that are embodied by the lines you see on the side of the car. We've learned a lot over the past 10 months. From the previous editions of Top Dutch Solar Racing, the Team 2019 and Team 2021, we've learned all of the intricacies of how to make a solar car. And besides that, of course, we started the competition well to see what makes them great. And all that brought together resulted in this. This is the best car Top Dutch Solar Racing has produced so far. And actually, it is the best solar car that has ever been produced. So in 4 months and 6 days from the moment you're here today, my team, as well as all our competition, I see a few of them. I see team from Twente there. I've seen colleagues from Inoptis there in the blue shirts, as well as I'm pretty sure that the orange shirts of the Brunel team are also here. We'll all go to Australia and we'll try to compete in the Bridgestone World Solar Challenge. And after 5 days of brutal racing through the outback, it will be number 6 that finishes the race first. Thank you very much. And of course, you've seen the car so far and a part of the team, but I would like a massive applause for my team, 2023 Top Dutch Solar Racing. Please join me on stage.
Thank you so much, Misha. What a good speech. And I would also like Erik to join. Thank you so much. I've got the microphone for you here for some final words. Nice.
Thank you. I'll keep this one short and without my phone, because everything is being said and I'm probably the worst speaker of the whole bunch. Ricky, where are you? Come over. Because when I'm here, I draw a lot of attention, and I think that attention should be towards you. Because you not only build a beautiful car together, but you compose a beautiful team as well. And as a mentor of this team, I watched you, because my task is doing nothing, basically, which I'm pretty good at it, obviously, but I just watch, and I see you making mistakes. I see you see the horror in your eyes, the fatigue, the frustration. There have been fights, discussions over and over again. And luckily, there has been a lot of joy and happiness and fun and parties. We had a lovely time. I'm so proud of you all. Look at this. Look at it. It's beautiful. I love you all. I love you all. A couple of things to say. Because you might think, after you heard them speaking, that they are all adult. Well, they're not. I could show you a list of pictures and comments in WhatsApp about what we do with the kitchen. come on guys, you can't leave it like this. Whose spoon is this? Why don't you clean it? Where is my lettuce? It was in the fridge. And it goes on and on and on. They're students after all. And that's nice because it's so, I'm so privileged to watch and observe and be a part of this team and see these young people grow, learn, competing each other. It's the best place to be actually as a lecturer. And for the final saying, I would again thank all our supporters, businesses and family members, because you not only contribute to the memories of these brilliant young people, but also, like Jan Hugo already mentioned, you all contribute to a change of this world. We really, really need it. We all need these young guys and girls to improve. Yesterday I was at the exhibition downstairs with the older cars, and there were two boys, I think 12 years or something, and they were, whoa, wow, this is beautiful, can I drive in it? No, you cannot drive it, but in a couple of years you can drive better, you can make it yourself. True, that was true. They were amazed, and after that there was a woman, I think my age, and she was amazed as well. Wow, it's beautiful, can I drive in it? No, you cannot drive, but you can drive in a simulator. And we took her to the simulator. It was a little bit uneasy, but she drove with the VR glasses, and she was amazed as well. So this whole project, this team, everything you are doing, Reiki, with the team, inspires not only yourselves, not only me, but everyone. And I hope you get something of the joy and the inspiration of this team and of this project. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Erik. Thank you so much, technical, non-technical team, everybody here. And I think in the end, it is a beautiful car. One more applause for this car and the team. Now it's all time for you to maybe take a picture with the car, that's okay, but please be very careful, don't break it, because they still have to win the race in Australia. Thank you so much, audience, thank you.
Okay, is it on? Yes. If I may have one unscripted say. We didn't plan for this, but I thought, let's do it. Thank you, Erik, for these kind words, and I wanted to say also something to the team. I'm very proud of what we have achieved, but also what we have set up today, this whole car reveal for all of our partners, friends, family, and the team itself. I'm very proud of what has been put up, so one big applause for Maha at the corner for setting it up. Moreover, team, thank you all for being here, for having made this possible, for having built this car, having done everything around it. And I would like to end it off with our yell, of course. So, Gie, ga, groen!